Hi, my name is Jonathan Morin. I'm the creative director on Watch Dogs. Chicago is a really important choice for us. As you know, like Watch Dogs is talking about important matter. We want to explore relevant subjects for comparing ourselves to day-to-day lives and all of that kind of stuff. Which means we wanted to pick a real city, use its real name, but also pick a place that would be very credible for embracing a concept such as CityOS or a smart city. Chicago is renowned to be very forward thinkers. Like, they push innovations to solve complex problems. They did it for the force of police against Al Capone in the 20s. They deal with the Great Fire. They deal with all the riots. They have an unbelievable amount of resilience that they've proved in the past. And they still prove it today with surveillance and all those elements to deal with the crime rate in the city. So we felt it was a natural pick to say that Chicago would not only be a great pick, a great city to explore in a game, but also a believable, incredible environment in which it could happen.
Awesome. So how much of the tech that's in the game, the technology that we use for CTOS, how much of that comes from real life applications?
Pretty much every tech that has been put in the game comes from real life. Even the smart city concept itself. Like, if you look at Rio de Janeiro for the Summer Games in 2016, they are implementing a smart city system for it. And you look at what Chicago is doing like today, and it's getting there. It's starting to have systems that intertwine with each other. Even Dubai had some of those parts of smart city, or at least like gave us this impression as well. So it's far from far-fetched to think that this system could exist. And every act that we've put in the game, we've made sure that they were possible to execute in real life. Of course, it's not like one press of a button in a second and it happens, but I think it's important that when you create something of relevance, that you try and create barriers that will keep everything in the line so people can actually immerse themselves in the environment and believe in it.
Right.
We've pushed a lot for immersion. I think one of the big things we did is give personality to everybody around you. Kind of create a relation between the player and his surroundings. So it's more than just like immersing the player, but it's giving him information so he can start triggering in his brain the kind of ethical codes and reflex that he have in real life. So suddenly pulling the trigger is a bigger deal. He starts second guessing his action. He starts to consider people around him like human beings. And that's important in a game like Watch Dogs, since we want to have a more dramatic tone to it. We do have our lighter aspect of the game, but we want to make sure the player immerses himself, not just because of the graphics, the feel, and the animation, but because of everything you have around them, and also the information as well. We wanted to push for hyper-connectivity in the game, which means like everyone is connected. So in online, it was a natural extension to make sure that in kind of a similar way we interact with our friends with smartphones today, we wanted the same to happen in the game. So sometimes someone can show up in your game without you realizing it, and it converges into an emergent, cool online experience. So we wanted to make sure that that was possible. And we even wanted to push further with the mobile devices and making sure that people that are not even console players could just take for free the app and start challenging console player and create even more content in their game, which is kind of embracing this whole hyper-connectivity even outside of the game experience. Well, there's various landmarks that we've put in the game. Like, we wanted to make sure we respected Chicago as much as possible, but then we wanted to give an extra bit to it. Of course, sometimes mission will tie with those environments and things like that, but we also wanted to have a few different kind of apps thing that would give us the smartphone experience, the typical aspects of things. One we did is kind of inspired like from Goala, Foursquare type of applications. So we have all those city hotspots that will give you information about the landmarks themselves, but also sometimes stories about them. So sometimes you will read more about the place and its history. Some other times you're going to be at a spot where something important happened in Chicago. So all of those elements are there to just further embed the player into the environment. I think my favorite act in the game has to be the camera-to-camera hopping, if you want. This ability to suggest that Aiden look at his phone and he switch cameras all the time to look at the environment. We're so used to treat cameras as a threat in games, so we wanted to suggest to Aiden that every time you take a camera and look at Aiden, he's kind of all blurry, like nobody's able to analyze him. So it kind of justified that he can arrive at a compound and just go like hop and look at everything, which when you think about it is the first time we give so many flexibility in time to players to plan. And that was kind of the big deal with that tool, is to make sure any type of player could access this second degree of gameplay where they can spend some time thinking, look with all the cameras, detect new opportunities of hacking, and go a step further than just like running in there with their guns, which is totally fine and totally fun to do in the game. But I think when you have something new to offer, you need to make it as accessible to players as possible. And